Girls.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, ladies. Hey guys, how are you?
I'm good. So you guys, welcome to another episode of the Boss Babes in Real Estate podcast. We're doing episode 11. And today we're going to be talking about what it's like to be a woman in this modern world where we're living. You know, over the past, century, we've made strides in just what we have available to us and, the recognition that we've gotten, rights and all of the above. But, there still are discrepancies and differences between the way that we are in the workforce or we're taken seriously or not. So we're going to be touching base on that, giving our opinions. And I wanted to start off with a little bit of the history and see where we got to where we are now. So, Gabby, do you have anything to add?
Yes. Well, it's been a long time coming, right?
Yes.
We've accomplished so much when it comes to being a woman. And it started over a century ago, right? So the first recollection of a woman's gathering was in 1848 for the Seneca Falls Convention. So Elizabeth Cady Stanton, she organized this meeting, who was recognized as the first significant gathering for women's rights in the United States. Mm-hmm. And what were they discussing? The right to vote, right? So imagine, this was in 1848. But it wasn't until August 18, a day after my birthday, 1920, so almost 80 years later, right?
Yeah.
That they actually women were allowed to vote.
Yeah. So right? I spent 80 years working on that.
No, yes. and not just that, like everything that they had to go through. How many women were killed? How many women died fighting for just a right to vote and to have, to have everything that we have right now.
So imagine, women start fighting, took years to finally get it. It actually began in Wyoming, where they actually allowed women to vote there first, but nationwide, it was not until August 18, 1920, that women were actually allowed to vote. Now, when it comes to labor and the economic sector, the first minimum wage law was enacted in Massachusetts in 1912. But the Fair Labor Standards Act was not established until 1938. And that established a federal minimum wage without regards to sex. So finally, right, a national act that protects that. But there was a lot of loopholes in that act. So the Equal Pay Act came through in 1963, which is not too long ago, if you think about it. Mm-hmm. Probably my dad was actually born in 1963. Right. So women didn't get to see this until this past generation, right? Mm-hmm. That says the Title VII for Civil Rights Act passed, and the following year went further, and that mandated equitable wages for the same work. And then the second Civil Rights Act, which was in 1968, attempted to fill a number of loopholes that, like I said before, obligating fair housing to people regardless of their race or national origin. And then Title IX in 1972 mandated equality in education. And then Congress added sex as a protected class in 1974. Yeah. 74. Imagine, not until 74 that we actually set the standards for wages regardless of the sex.
You know why? Because around 1940s, when it was the Industrial Revolution,
right,
the women were going to the workforce because their men were fighting. They were in the war, so they had to provide for their families.
And they were not paid equally. They were not being paid equally.
Yeah, but regardless of that, they were allowed to work and to be in the same facilities of other men, you know what I mean?
So imagine, not only women were not allowed to work, then they were allowed to work, but when they were allowed to work, they were not
getting
paid
I mean,
equally,
this is the same thing that is happening
right
now.
We're still dealing with that,
exactly.
right? Even though laws and all these things came along.
Actually, today at the news, they were showing that women are getting paid more than their husbands now. So it was like a study doing a sociologist,
a
sociologist.
They're not getting paid.
They're not getting paid high. They're making more money than their husbands. Exactly, which is amazing.
We're working smarter.
Exactly.
So now, when it comes to leadership and government in the legislation branch. Nancy Pelosi actually was the first female speaker in the House in 2007. Imagine how late, right?
Mm-hmm.
And which is a role that she returned now in 2019.
Yes.
So she was the very first one. Then in the
Judicial
branch, Hillary Clinton became the first woman. Actually, that's in the executive branch. Hillary Clinton became the first woman to be nominated by a major party for president in 2016. That just happened, right? And then in the judicial, I'm getting stuck, you guys. I'm sorry. Judicial branch, Sandra Day O'Connor was the first woman to sit on the U.S. Supreme Court. So this is a lot of good things. And in regards to women in business, 7 out of the 50 in Forbes list are women. Just not a lot still, you see. And I'm gonna tell you who they are. And number 13 is Francois Betancourt Meyers. She's the heir to L'Oreal's founder. So you know L'Oreal's she carried the company and now she's the owner. So she's number 13 on the list. Okay. Number 15 is Alice Walton. She inherited the Walmart from the Walmart founders. You know, she's still legal here as well. 18 is Julia Koch, which is the widow to David Koch, who owns Koch Industries, which is an American multinational corporation. So they do petroleum, chemicals, and all this type of things. 23 is Mackenzie Bezos, which is the ex-wife of Jeff Bezos, who by the divorce was actually given half of his fortune, right? So
she's a very smart woman too. She worked with him from the beginning.
That's why she was allowed to
exactly.
Get the half, you know?
She worked with him from the beginning, and they built the company together. Mm-hmm. So I personally think she deserved that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Number 30 was Jacqueline Mars. She's the heirs to Mars Candy Company. You know, M&M's and all these candies is the largest candy producer, right, in the world. And then 37, coming to real estate, 37, Yang Huyan.
Ooh.
Yeah, she is here to the founder of real estate developer company Country Garden Holdings.
Okay.
So she's in number 37 in regards to real estate. We're out there too making moves. And number 45 is Lauren Powell Jobs, which is the widow of Steve Jobs, you know, the founder of Apple. And so I think it's hard, you know, that's why you see 7 out of 50 in the list, right? And it's not that we don't want it or don't deserve it. When we started, like, not even a century ago, trying to make it.
Exactly.
And for us to be already in list, like females to be there and in us doing our thing and owning our own businesses and running our thing, that is such an accomplishment for today. That's why mentality is also like a challenge still for some people, because things were not this way, right? So to get accustomed to now women are working. Women were supposed to be before, right, housewives. They're supposed to stay in the house, cook, clean, and that's your job and that's it. Right?
Yes.
And now?
I want to say something too, because that's part of what I'm going to talk about.
Yes.
We wear so many different hats, and that's one of them. Like, we have to work as real estate entrepreneurs and business owners, but we still have so many other things to do. Like, exactly. I'm a mother. I have to take my kid to school, sports, classes, doctor's appointments. Besides that, like the family and everything. So that is a great thing that you said that, because people don't take into consideration a hardworking woman, and then we have to get home, clean,
and
cook,
still be a woman.
Keep everything together. Exactly. Which we do everything really good too,
really
right?
No, not only that,
Yes.
you also take care of yourself.
Of
have
course.
time for your makeup, your skin, then you go out with your friends. It's so much, right?
Yeah.
And
And you gotta be a girlfriend and
And then be on a diet.
Right. On top of all of that.
no, it's just like being judged by people saying like, oh, you look skinny. Oh, you look like the video I sent you guys.
Yes.
You know, that video was so powerful. Like it gave a very good message to everybody. I think
people are never happy. It doesn't
Exactly.
matter.
Yeah,
it doesn't
we'll post
matter.
a link to it because it was a video
Very
about what society considers. They tell you to be a lady,
a woman,
right? And be a lady,
What
but
does
don't
that
be
mean?
too loud, don't be too quiet, don't be too. So what is really?
yeah.
So
What
is
does
it that you
What
want?
is it that you
Exactly.
want? What,
Yeah.
like you can never win. Like there's so much that
that
we
is
do. And
what
we
that's
have
what
to
it's
do.
telling you, just to be yourself.
Yeah.
And be
Exactly.
happy with what you have.
Right.
And how you are, regardless of what other people in society tell you to do and to be.
Honor yourself. Be genuine.
Exactly.
Be true to yourself.
That's right.
Amen.
Yeah.
What about you, Lily? What do you have to say about?
Oh,
women?
well. Did we introduce ourselves?
Oh, actually,
It's okay.
I'm
Come on,
Elvie the Realtor. Hello. I get to talk about women in the workforce. I got my notes here, you know. So, all right. So, I mean, Gabby touched on it a lot, and it's crazy for me to hear those stats, right? I learned some things today. I mean, obviously, I learned it in school, but you don't retain all that information. Yeah. I've had my working papers since I was 14 years old, but I've been working since way before that. My dad is a business owner, so I've been working since I was a child, you know? And so, I mean, for me to, like, have all of that stuff kind of register, right? It's a little bit hard because me personally, I've been working for so long.
It's overwhelming.
Right? And I've seen my mom work, and, you know, you're like, in my generation, it wasn't really a factor. But when you get down to look at the numbers and the stats, as women, we are still not treated equally. Right? And so, like, in doing my homework to get ready for this podcast, I found out that there's actually, women actually earn more degrees in college than men. And this has been happening for a long, long time. Okay? So women have been earning more bachelor's degrees than men since 1982. They've been earning more master's degrees since 1987. They've been earning more doctorate degrees since 2006. Right? So since 2006 all the way up until now, we've been earning more doctorate degrees. And then it's crazy to think that we get literally paid, based on this, 80% less than what men are being paid for the same position. So it's just...
It's insane to think about it. It's just like ridiculous.
Right.
Even actors and actresses, we're still talking about it. How, you know, what a high-paid actor...
Exactly.
High-paid actors, they're not even at all the same. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's what they were saying in Hollywood, too.
We literally make up almost half of the workforce, right? And we're not being compensated for it.
Not properly.
Not properly. I mean, we're being compensated, but we're not being compensated properly. Fairly. I think that a lot of maybe that comes from women not asking for what they want, right? I think that's a bit, obviously there's more, like the whole umbrella. There's more to it, I know, but I think that us as women, a lot of times we may just be accepting because we're just happy that we're even getting a position. Yeah. We're getting that high position. We're getting that, oh, you know, CEO, manager, this, that. I'm the vice VP.
And then I'm scared that if I don't speak up, they're going to take that away from me.
They're not going to give me the job. If I fight for what I know I'm worth, I may not get the job. So that's where a lot of the disconnection in the compensation, I think, is, right? Because we're not fighting for what we're worth.
Exactly.
But we got the degrees to show for it,
and we got proof.
So, and I think we're gonna see a change in it for sure, because I mean, like the song said in the beginning, who run the world?
Girls.
Hey.
I think that's why I'm really grateful for this industry, because I am now able to be paid the exact same as somebody else. Yeah. You know, regardless of whether.
Exactly.
I'm in this industry, right? You guys have the ability to just make a percentage. We're making percentages. It's not about, you know. But, you know, obviously, you know, onto where I wanted to focus on was whether we have disadvantages or advantages still as women, and we really do, but I think it has more to do with whether you're you know, people think you're capable, or they're underestimating you. So, and I think that is still super, super high, because whereas maybe, like you were saying, let's say I do go in and ask for something that I want. More often than not, I'm going to get a lot of pushback first. So it's not, you know, it's like if we're running a race, I'm going to come in slower than somebody, and then a male most of the time, because a man, when he asks for what he wants, they're like, there's a boys club, and they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna take care of you, we're gonna do this, we're gonna hook you up, you're gonna get this, and then I ask for it, and it's like, Why?
Hold up. Or they may dangle the carrot and say you can have it
if you do this.
Sacrifice or limit, work hard. Like, so you would have to end up working harder than the guy.
Or
does.
sometimes they ask for inappropriate things.
They may try to make up.
That's
where I was going.
Girl,
especially in this
so
industry.
you were talking about dangling the carrot. I don't know.
No, that's
Why carrot she was
I don't want to see. I didn't want to see anything dangling.
She got the carrot one.
No, it's just being.
It's okay, baby.
But yeah, unfortunately, it's funny to say, it's fun and games, but it's a reality, that we are seen as sexual objects a lot of the time.
Yeah, and
they're like, okay, do it, but you have to do this or do that.
And I think it's also key to point out, like, we're saying that maybe sometimes women do have a problem saying what they want in the first place, and because we are so fresh and so new into this new, view of women and being, just able to demonstrate our capacity. Like, just to give an example, obviously I look at finances a lot, and when we're talking about credit cards, there's women who still very clearly remember where they couldn't get a credit card unless their husband let them, or like gave the approval at the bank. Do you know what I mean? And that was recent. So, when we are talking about
crazy,
stuff like
right?
that, when we're talking about things like this, it's really important to remember that we also have to have that duality of the mind and understand where most of the women who raised us came from, and then present them like, hey, this is what the reality is now, and it's okay to shift out of where we were and like, come with me, it'll be nice over here. A lot of the men also
it'll be nice over
here.
I think that it's education and it's time as we go, because here's the thing, maybe your boss is probably 50, 60 years old. He still saw his mom not working and not doing it. And a woman gonna tell me what I have to do?
Correct.
No. So sometimes it's just that mentality, that they have to break in. They have to understand we're not in that in that space anymore. We're not in that year, in that century. We are here now, and we're equal now. But it's a lot. Exactly. It's hard for some people to come to the realization that that's how it is nowadays. And so we get so much more expectations, going back to what all of you were saying, because now we're not only expected to be a good wife, cook and clean, but we're also expected to, okay, so if you want it, you got to work as much and as hard as the men do, and stay long hours and do this and do that, and we have to do it all. We have to do it all, or at least have a team that can support us behind us, right?
And be hot at the same time.
You're talking about being like you're talking about us being entrepreneurs and everything, but how about the people that really have to clock in at 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Like those women that have to run their houses, take their kids to school, do laundry, go grocery shopping, work hard for 12 hours a day. Like, that is impressive.
Super women.
That is impressive. Yes. And it's something that they don't take, like people don't take that as an example of being a woman, a hardworking woman sometimes. They just judge, oh no, this lady is always late, but what was she doing before she picked up their kids? Like,
guess what? Men, instead of being understanding and be like, oh, she has a lot to do and this and that, instead of understanding that, they expect you, it's convenient, they want to understand the half part, right? Pay half of the bills, pay half, help me with half here, half. That is their responsibility as head of the house, but now it's convenient for them, right, to go, but they don't really help you, because then, okay, if you're gonna go and I'm gonna have to split the bills with you, you clean, have to also
you
clean.
Do this, you do that.
But they don't want to do that. They want you to still keep doing everything and just for that.
And if you don't do it, you're a bad woman. And if you don't do it, if you contribute with the bills and everything, but you have a dirty house, how dare you do that? Why you don't help me then? Like those are things that people just what?
Because every relationship I've ever been in, the few of them that I've been in, I've never had a guy that expected me to do this, and that.
That's
Like,
you, but that's not
But,
everybody.
but the reality is that that's
yeah, that's the
Okay, hold
reality.
on.
You
I want to
know.
hear her.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, I've never, like, I can honestly say, and I've had, like, long relationships for years. It's not like it started
And
like
they'll
that, and then it
contribute.
changed. It was always, like, we did
Like a
literally-
teamwork.
Yeah, 50-50.
That's awesome.
Like,
Well,
That's wonderful.
I cook, you clean. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I cook, you wash the dishes.
Well, in my opinion, I have not had that problem because I have not got that type of man that wants me to give half. Thank God I have found men that are understand they're still head of the household, which means they are responsible for all the main things in the house. I'm just contributing as help whenever I want to, whenever, that's when I come in. But honestly, people forget, and also men forget, they're made to be the head of the household. And now they want to go and do all these things happen. You're still doing all these things. That's not how it works. But at least if you have that mentality that, okay, I can give 50 to 50, then really be 50-50 on everything.
I like
You know,
50-50.
50-50 on
I like
everything.
a teamwork.
Yes.
I personally
Then
like
do that,
teamwork.
But be
We do it
50%
together.
on what you do, 50% on everything, like cleaning,
Yeah,
picking up
everything.
the kids, that. Not just leave all the work for the woman and then.
Right.
wanna
So
do
if
that.
we're fighting for equality, then it's equality.
We gotta be equal.
It's not one or the other, and
Yep.
then the woman does everything.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
That's my opinion, but
Mine too.
and
We're a
vice
team.
versa.
But
Like,
I also
you
yeah,
get
so
50,
let's
I give
touch
50.
back to the fact that most of our employers, maybe a lot of the times, we're going to find in the workforce is people who are men who are stuck in those mentalities of.
Mm-hmm.
But and thankfully, a lot of what I get to see is that a lot of the young men now have that open mind and have the. So things are changing, and they are also able to shed light on their upper management.
You
and tell
said
them
it right.
too. They're
because
like, oh,
they're
no,
younger.
right? Because
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
younger, because they have
Another generation.
another generation.
Exactly.
We
That's-
don't have
so-
to untrain them.
So they are like our allies. They are more of like a partnership
Yeah.
with us, where we don't have to that's where we can find
Balance.
partners and strength and everything.
All the balance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I think
agree.
so. I think
agree, and
everything
also,
is like finding a balance, like in every single thing. We always come to balance in time somehow.
And just like the fact that also touching bases on the sexism part, as a woman, you get approached differently. Like even in our business, the men try to take advantage of how you look or you're a woman. They don't really trust your judgment because you're a woman. You probably don't really know. Why?
Yeah.
We are just actually even more prepared
Than some
as
of them.
the facts show.
Numbers show.
Numbers don't lie, baby. That we are actually capable and more prepared and knowledgeable than men. And so why do you treat a woman differently when they're in the business environment?
Mm-hmm.
So really, this episode was really just to shed light on, if you have a woman around, celebrate them, acknowledge them,
Exactly.
and all the
Empower
things.
them,
Appreciate
Empower
them,
Yes.
because
support.
it's hard to be a woman in the industry, and it's just
In
a
the
woman in
industry.
general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Exactly.
In life,
I'm
it's
holding
hard.
back tears right now. No.
Yeah.
So we're honoring also National Women's Day. That's on Sunday. So
And-
that's basically the theme of this podcast, and we hope that everyone, gets a better and broader perspective on this whole women in the industry kind of a thing.
And it's also National Women's History Month. So this is why we wanted to kick it out with this clip right here, this
Yes.
episode. So enjoy March and just acknowledge and appreciate all the women that's around
yes,
you, right?
appreciate
Yes.
the women around you.
And
Yes.
just learn, and we
We always
like
have
to.
a quote.
Yeah,
Quote. Yes. All right. So our closeout quote is: "Each time a woman stands up for herself, she stands up for all women."
That's right.
Yes.
On
Thank
that
you.
note,
Thank you so much.
Signing out.
Boss
Boss
Babe
Babe.
signing out.
bye.
Bye.